All right, let's start lying down. Have a strap handy or something if you have one, a belt or something. So coming down onto your back, have the feet to the floor so the knees are bent. And then just try to lengthen the spine into the ground so that the tailbone sort of tuck, so you feel that lower back connect to the floor. Allow the hands to rest onto the lower belly, so somewhere between sort of hip bones and pubic bone. Allow the shoulder blades to feel fairly broad into the ground, and then lengthen through the back of the neck, so you're kind of as flat to the ground as you can feel. Keeping the breath through the nose, and allow the breath to reach down into the hands at the lower belly. So a little bit more emphasis on each round of breath, so you get that full expansion. Similarly, try to extend the exhale a little bit deeper as well. So you feel those deeper core muscles just starting to engage a little bit, just to squeeze out those last few drops of air. Allow there to be a gentle pause between the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to take a few rounds with a count to the breath. So I want you to think of the numbers 3, 4, 5. We're going to inhale for a count of 3, hold the breath for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 5. So sink in with me when you can. Inhale, 2, 3, hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 4. Exhale for 5. Inhale for 3. Hold the breath for 4. Exhale for 5. Inhale for 3. Holding for 4. Exhale for 5. And then let the breath return to a more relaxed rhythm. As you next inhale, reach the hands towards the ceiling. Just give the wrists a roll around, the palms a stretch out, so stretch through the fingers as much as you can, and then keep them rolling. Now keeping the arms straight, reach the arms all the way back behind your head, so the back of the hands come to the floor. You can take them a little bit wider if the shoulders are feeling tight, but try and get the fingernails into the ground. Again, palms open, so the hands are stretching. Try and press the back of the hands or the fingernails into the ground. Take those couple of deeper breaths again, so you feel now the breath move a little bit wider into the sides of your ribcage. Again, as you exhale, really squeeze out the breath, so you feel the lower ribs pull down and the belly pull in, like you're knitting the abdominals and the ribcage together. Gently slide the arms around to the sides of you a little bit further, it's kind of in line with your shoulders. Then gently rocking your knees from one side to the other. Keep the movement small to start with, And then each time you sway side to side, make it a little bit bigger. Kind of listening to your back, take it as deep as your back feels happy with. If you can sink it in with the breath, you're exhaling as the knees lower, inhale as the knees lift. Allow the breath to feel fairly pacey, build a little bit of energy through the body. Next time the knees drop over to the right, just allow them to fall all the way to the ground. So you come into a twist. And you can either just stay where you are with the legs just flopping wherever they fall, or if you want to tuck this round into a little bit of a deeper twist, then stack the left knee on top of the right one. And then maybe your right hand can reach for the upper thigh just to help anchor the legs down to get that deeper rotation through the spine. As you're exhaling, think about your left shoulder pinning further towards the floor. So sense the shoulder blade sliding down the back of the ribs so the chest feels open. That shoulder blade, your scapula, is connected into the back. Feel the breath still moving into the lower abdomen, into the ribs, that connection to your diaphragm. Staying where you are, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bring the knees back through the center and take them over to the left. So again, either just allowing the knees to flop wherever they fall, or you can stack the right knee on top of the left one and bring the left hand just to help anchor the thighs down. Again, feel that right shoulder rooting to the floor, sliding the shoulder blade down your back. Chest feels open. Keep the breath feeling full. So if the breath feels too tight or restricted in any way, you possibly come into the twist a little bit too deep. So soften it if you need to allow the breath to move fully. Staying where you are, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, bring the knees back to the center. Coming into a bridge pose, so keep the feet about hips distance apart, feet fully rooted to the ground, arms just relaxing to the sides, and keep the palms turned open so that we don't press into the arms to help us. You'll take a big breath into the belly, then using that exhale, pull the belly button down to the spine, curl the tailbone off the floor first, and then let that peel the rest of the spine away from the mat. Keep the knees stacked above the ankles, so just check they will want to roll out sideways. Keep the knees reaching forwards as the hips lift up. Allow the back of the neck to lengthen and stay long. So just lightly press into your feet. Maybe feel the crown of the head reach towards the back of your mat a little further. And as you're next exhaling, engage the glutes a little bit more. So your tailbone tucks or reaches towards that fold of your knees. And the front of the hips presses open. Take another big breath in here. Then using the exhale, roll down your spine, just the top third of your back comes to the floor. Pause there, take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll the second third of your back to the floor. Pause there, take a breath in. And as you exhale, roll the last little bit of your back into the ground. Going to come up to bridge pose again. So staying where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, using the core to roll the hips up, engaging through the glutes, pressing lightly through the feet so the head can slide back, allow some space to come around the chest. Keep trying to tuck the tailbone so pubic bone presses up. Keeping that big toe rooted to the floor. So the feet will want to roll open, the knees will want to roll open, and keep them really parallel and strong. Have a sense they won't move physically, but your heels are trying to pull back towards the direction of your shoulders. So you might feel then a bit of engagement in the hamstrings underneath your thighs. On your inhale, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other, like you're holding a ball between the hands. Really reach up as high as you can through those fingertips. You might feel these shoulders almost lift away from the ground. Take a big breath in where you are. As you exhale, reach those hands back behind you. Keep the palms facing each other, so you might feel the tip of your thumbs meet the floor. The arms can go wider again if the shoulders are feeling a little bit tight. Otherwise, try to keep the arms close towards your ears. Take another big breath in, keep reaching back through the hands. And as you exhale, then slowly roll the spine to the floor, all the way down, but keep the arms reaching back behind you. Try to create the tailbone to be the last point to touch the mat. When you are fully grounded, scoop the right knee in towards your chest. Bring the hands around that shin, and then extend the left leg away from you. So left leg is straight, with the heel consciously pushing out away from you. Take a really big breath in, and as you exhale, bring this right thigh closer towards the torso. So you're almost trying to get the thigh to compress in towards the right side of the abdomen. Gently rolling the right foot around a few times one way, making it as big as feels good for your foot. As much movement through the toes and sole of the foot as you can. Oh, crunch. And then rolling the other way. And then let this foot come down to the floor, coming into more of a restorative tree pose. So let the foot stay towards the left leg and just let the knee drop out towards the side. Bring the arms overhead, so maybe holding on to all 10 elbows, or bring the arms into more of a cactus position, just somewhere behind your head, so the ribs feel open again. And then each time you exhale, try to completely drop your body weight into the floor, so that everything goes floppy. So you're just using the weight of this right leg to bring a little bit of space into the front of that hip. Allow the breath to reach right down into that lower part of the abdominals again. So allowing a little bit of circulation to come through the hip into the pelvis. Interlace the hands together and place the head into the hands. So just going to take 4 breaths of gentle core work here. So staying where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, bring this right knee back in towards your chest and reach the elbows across towards that right knee, so twisting in towards it. As you inhale, come back into that restorative tree pose again. Open the knee and the elbows out. And as you exhale, scoot back in, elbows reaching towards right knee. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale to open. Exhale, scooping in, think belly pulling down. Last one, inhale to open. And exhale to scoop in. Keep the knee where it is. Just bring the head and shoulders back to the floor. Interlace the hands together around the back of your thigh. Extend the heel towards the ceiling, but keep a little bend into the knee so that your thigh stays closer towards your torso. The heel reaches up from there. So try to find the point where you're getting a hamstring stretch around the back of your thigh rather than trying to focus on having a straight leg. So that might mean there's a bend in the knee to get it. Try to really root the tailbone down so you have a sense of your pelvis staying rooted as then the heel of that foot reaches up. So you get that kind of 2-way pull going through the leg. You can either roll the ankle around again there to get a bit of movement or stretch through the calf muscle, or keeping the foot flexed, with the toe curling back, whatever feels best for you to be. A gentle sway of the leg going side to side, if that brings a bit of ease into the muscle or into the hip. Try to stay soft through the shoulders and keep that deeper connection to the breath. And last couple of breaths here. And gently bend the knee. and scoop that left leg in towards your body to meet it. So just take that sequence to the other side. So your hand's going to interlace around that left shin and send the right leg away from you. Take your time to transition. So really kick out through that right heel against the floor. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, squeezing this left thigh in towards the ribcage, trying to get that compression of thigh into body, pressing your back into the floor, and that lengthening around the lower left of your back and into the back of that leg. Roll the left foot around a few times on the way. Again, with as much movement through the sole of the foot as you can, stretch it out, changing direction. And then keeping the foot flexed. Good, so taking here into the more restorative tree pose, so let the sole of the foot come to the floor and let the knee flop out towards the side. Arms reaching back behind your head, either holding onto the arms or bring them into cactus, wherever they want to be. Finding that deeper expansion through the rib cage with your breath. And each time you exhale, just allowing the body to drop its weight into the floor. Allow everything to feel floppy. Allowing the weight of your left leg to create that space around the left side of the hips and the pelvis. Root the breath right down into the base of the torso. And from here, interlace the fingers together around the back of the head. So take those 4 breaths into the core work here. So keeping the head and shoulders rooted, take a big breath in. Then as you exhale, bring the knee in towards your chest and reach the elbows across towards that left knee, pulling the belly down. Inhale, open everything back out again. Exhale to scoop in for 2. Inhale to open. Scooping in for 3. Inhale to open. Scooping in for 4. Keep the knee where it is. Bring the head and shoulders back to the floor. Interlace the hands together now around the back of the thigh and extend the heel towards the ceiling, finding hamstring stretch. So keeping maybe that bend into the knees, the thigh is closer towards the torso, then reaching the heel up from there. Again, the ankle can roll or the ankle can stay flexed or a gentle swaying through the leg. Whatever gives you the kind of best feeling of bringing space into that stretch. Shoulders soft, back of the neck long. A slow, full feeling through the breath. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, bend the knee, scoop the right knee back in towards your chest again, so both knees are with you. Take a little rock side to side, just massage your back into the floor. And then bring both feet to the ground again. You're going to take the bridge pose again. So take the hands back to the sides of the body. Feet planted, hip width. Take a big breath in, feel the belly expand. And as you exhale, draw the belly down. Tailbone curls off first, let the rest of the spine peel away. And keep those knees reaching forwards, pressing through the feet to the head, slide back. On your inhale, reach the hands towards the ceiling and float them all the way back behind you. This time turn so the back of the hands are against the ground, just to give you a little bit more stability. If it feels a little bit too strong, bring the arms back around to the sides of the body as a kind of more stability. Without adjusting the body too much other than that, press down through the left foot. See if you can pick the right foot off the floor. Keep the knee bent, so that right knee is stacked above the hip, legs at about 90 degrees. Really pushing through that supporting leg so the hips don't sink back towards the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale to place the right foot back to the ground. Switching sides, so root through the right foot, lifting the left leg, so the left knee is stacked above the hip, keeping the leg at 90 degrees. Keep the hips pressing up, take a breath in. As you exhale, gently place the foot to the floor. Take one more big breath in, hips lifting. As you exhale, keep the arms reaching back, but slowly roll the spine to the floor. Bring the pelvis closer to your feet as you come back to the ground. From there, hugging both knees in towards your chest, hands around the shins. Again, take a little rock side to side. From here, we're going to take a figure of 4 hip stretch. So bring the feet to the ground again, as we just had. Lift the right foot towards the ceiling, and then bring the ankle to rest onto your left thigh. Let the knee reach away from you, and then use just your right hand to press the knee away from you. So encourage it a little bit further out. If you can, use the palm against the inner thigh to have a sense of lifting that muscle up away from the hip, and then push it away. So again, you just create a little bit more space in the tissue of the hip there. From there, just let that hand relax away. Just arms resting out to the sides. Rocking this connection of the legs from side to side. To start small with the movements. Listen to how your back is feeling. If it wants to go deeper, or it can feel comfortable to go deeper, then make the rocking a little bit bigger. So maybe you build up to knee taps the floor and then foot taps the floor. Again, try to find the exhale as you lower, inhale through center. Next time the legs rock over towards the left, let them come all the way down so you feel the sole of the foot against the ground. Use now your left hand to press the knee up and away from you. The right arm is going to reach back behind you. So have a sense that the hands are reaching away from each other. You're creating space now around the right side of the body, into that right hip again. Take a couple of really big breaths. So the more you can move the abdominals with the breath, the more benefits the stretch is going to feel. Stay where you are. Take a big breath in. Then use the strength of your exhale to bring the legs back to the center in that same connection. Thread the hands through the gap, so your hands wrap around the back of the left leg. And you're going to pull that connection in towards you, that figure of 4 deeper stretch. So if you can, try to root the tailbone down, draw the shoulders back. And if your right arm meets the inner thigh of the right leg, then use your arm to press that knee further away, and the hands encourage the shin closer in. Holding here, take a really deep breath. Slowly untangle the legs so both feet come back to the floor. Give the knees a little rock side to side if you need to. And then bringing that figure of 4 sequence to the other side. So the left foot's going to lift up and the ankle rests onto your right thigh. We start with the right arm just relaxing out. The left hand is just pressing the knee away from you. Again, if you can have the sense of lifting the inner thigh up as you press it away, giving that muscle a little bit more traction into space. Feel the breath move into the abdominals. And then allow the hands to just relax down. Rocking this connection of the legs side to side. Again, start small, let it build up as your back feels comfortable too. You can sink the breath in with it. The exhale is when you drop towards the twist. The inhale brings you center. Good. Next time the legs draw over towards the right, let them come all the way down to the sole of the foot meets the floor. Your right hand is going to press the knee away from you. The left hand is going to reach back behind you, so you find that extension through the left side of the body. Have a sense of the hands trying to reach away from each other. Couple of deep breaths. Stay where you are, take a big breath in, and as you exhale, bring the knees back up to the center. Keeping the legs as they are, thread the hands through the gap, so you're bringing in your right thigh, the ankle is coming in towards the shin. Try to press the tailbone down, draw the shoulders back, keeping the back of the neck long, lightly flexing the feet. And if your left elbow meets the inner thigh, use that to press the knee further away from you to deepen the rotation in that hip. Keep the breath moving. Stay where you are, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, untangle the legs so feet come to the ground. Rocking the knees gently side to side. And then scoop the knees in towards your body. You can either roll yourself over to one side or take a gentle rock and roll through to seated. Coming up right. Good. Finding any comfortable seated posture, that's fine. So if you want to sit onto a cushion or something, then pop yourself up onto something. Legs can be out straight or legs crossed, wherever you're most comfortable to sit up straight. Let your hands come to your knees and lifting with a sense of height through the spine. Inhale to lift the shoulders up towards your ears, taking a big breath in. As you exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together and drag the shoulder blades down your back. Just taking one more breath like that. So inhale, shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades together and squeeze them down your back. Let the head drop over towards the left shoulder, pressing the right shoulder down. So you're trying to create length through that side line of the neck. Allow the head to just slightly move around until you get a little bit of a stretch going through the right side of the neck there. And then roll the chin through the chest and take the head across towards the right. And have a sense of the left shoulder pressing down. And then maybe just moving the head into the place that it needs to be so that you feel the stretch coming through. Take a big breath in. Exhale to bring the chin towards your chest and then bring the head back up straight. Bring the fingertips to the back of the neck, just where the neck meets the shoulders. Kind of find that muscly a bit around the top of the shoulders into your traps. Just give that a little bit of a massage. You'll know where it is because it'll need a massage always. And then drag your fingers from that place up the neck, either side of the spine that you feel in the neck. Find the ridge of your skull and have a sense then of lifting the ridge of the skull up away from the neck so the hands come around to the back of the head. Keep the fingers reaching all the way up towards the ceiling, so you drag them up straight. And as you exhale, bring the hands around to the sides of you and down to the floor. Fingertips just resting out to the sides. You're going to inhale to lift the right arm back up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, come over into a side stretch. So you're using that left hand on the ground to keep your sit bones rooted into the cushion or the floor, wherever you're sat. On your next inhale, going to lift back up through the center with both arms lifting. As you exhale, bring the right hand to the floor, left arm reaching over. Take that once more either side. So big inhale to lift you up tall. Exhale, left hand down, right arm reaching over. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, right hand down, left hand reaching over. Inhale, lifting tall. Again, interlace the fingers together around the back of your neck. Sorry, not interlace, just bring the fingers around to the back of the neck. So find that same little massage at the top of the shoulders. Run the fingers up the neck so you have a sense of scooping up the head around the ridge of the skull and lifting it away from the spine. Keep the hands running up all the way to reach them to the ceiling. And bring the hands around to the sides, out in front of you, come into all fours, however feels best to get there. Spread the fingers open into the ground. Just make sure the knees are underneath the hips, wrists are underneath your shoulders. Just transfer the weight around the hands a little bit. So either rocking forwards and backwards or round in little circles, just to get the weight running through the wrists. Maybe give the hands a bit of a stretch. And then holding center, so shoulders are steady over the wrists. Take an inhale, coming into the back bend phase of your cat-cow. So the tailbone lifts and the chest lifts up. As we exhale, bring the belly to spine, so you're rounding your spine up towards the ceiling. Push the floor away, so you get a stretch through shoulder blades. Inhale again as you lift up and open. And exhale to press round, opening out your back. Couple more rounds. Inhale to lift. Exhale to scoop through. Inhale as you lift. And exhale to round through. Holding here with this rounding of your back. Pressing strong through the arms. Bring the chin closer towards your chest. So you're looking back towards the navel. Then just gently rock your body from one side to the other a little bit, just to expand into the stretch around the sides of your back. Just let the hips swing side to side. Begin to take the hips around in big circles. Take them to one side, back towards the feet, around to the other side, or slightly forwards. Keep it going in that same direction a few times. Might get a few clicks and clunks, come out the knees and the hips. And then whenever it feels right to you, change the direction, skipping it around the other way. Fold it back into your child pose. The hips come to the heels. Take the knees about as wide as the mat so that your body can breathe fully between the thighs. Take the hands to reach forwards and allow the forehead to come to the ground. Keep the palms feeling actively stretching open. Aiming to keep the elbows lifted if you can, but at the same time think about the armpits trying to wrap around towards the floor. So can we stay broad through the shoulder blades? Feeling the breath come into belly, ribs, back. And gently bring yourself back into all fours again. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up into a downward facing dog, keeping a deeper bend into the knees, like you're squatting into your downward dog. Really press through the hands, keeping the palms stretching open, pushing the hands into the floor so you feel your chest push back towards the thighs. Allow the gaze to be with the big toes or with your knees, so gaze is back, that'll keep the back of the neck long. Get the tailbone trying to tip up towards the ceiling. And then if you want to keep the legs paddling, a bit of movement in and allow them to move. If you're paddling the feet, then really try and work through the feet as well. So your feet get a stretch, the front of the ankles get a stretch. I've got a few clicks and cracks coming out of my feet. From there, we're going to roll forward into a plank position. So stay broad through the shoulder blades as you travel forwards. You can place the knees down in plank if you want to, but try to keep the shoulders above the wrists, so the body weight is leaning forward slightly. Take a big breath in your plank position. As you exhale, bring the knees to the floor if they aren't already. Gently roll the body towards the ground. The elbows are hugging in towards the rib cage, so keep the arms close to your body. Take the hands a little bit further wider and open, so that cactus position, and stretch the toes back so the shoelace bit of your feet is against the ground. Take an inhale as your chest lifts up, nose reaching forwards. Press into the hands so the arms lengthen a little bit. So if your elbows are staying down, it feels a little bit restricted, take the arms wider or further forwards. Find the place where the arms can lengthen and the chest lifts up, kind of props up with the hands. Staying here for a couple of breaths. So each time you exhale, try to lift the belly button up away from the floor, like you're trying to lift your belly off the ground. Think tucking the tailbone, so try to root the thighs into the floor and keep the shoulders down. Rolling the head around side to side, or just loosen off the neck, so we're not holding into it. Doesn't have to be too big a movement, just keeping the neck soft. Holding center with the head, take a breath in, and as you exhale, have a sense of drawing the body slightly forwards as you come back into the ground. Pick up your right leg, so the leg stays straight, keep lifting the thigh, and then see if you can reach the leg further back towards the back of the mat, and then place it back down to the ground. Same with the left leg, so just gently lift it up slightly, reach it as far back as you can, and then place it back to the floor. Keep the shoelace bit of your feet pressing into the ground. We're just taking that cobra a couple more times. So this time we're going to keep it moving. So the inhale lifts the chest, maybe lengthen the arms. Exhale, roll the spine back to the floor. Inhale as you lift up. And exhale, roll the spine back to the floor. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders. Elbows are hugging in towards the rib cage. Take a big breath in where you are. And as you exhale, pressing through your arms to lift up to all fours and fold it back into your child's pose again. Hips coming all the way back towards your feet. Take a big breath there in child's pose. From here, coming back into your downward facing dog. I'm going to slowly walk the feet up towards your hands, or bring the hands towards your feet whenever you need to. And then try to just shuffle yourself forwards a little bit if you aren't there already, so that you are at the top of the mat. Feet are hips distance apart, and keep a little bend into the knees. Hold on to alternate elbows or forearms, and try to allow the head to really just dangle between the arms. Keeping enough bend in the knees that your lower back can feel relaxed. So that might be quite a deep squat. You can even let your body rest into the thighs. If you're wanting to work into that deeper hamstring stretch, then start to straighten the legs up. Find a kind of biting point that feels enough. You can keep a gentle sway here, a little rocking into the movement if that's okay with your back. Take a really long full breath. And then allow the arms to dangle to the floor. Stay where you are, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, take your time, slowly rolling up to standing. Think about the tailbone down first, and then placing each vertebrae on top of the next. Keep the arms floppy and the chin tucking in towards your chest until the rest of the spine is straight. Then place the head on top. Roll the shoulders down your back when you're standing. Bring the fingers to the base of the neck like we did earlier. Run the hands up the sides of the neck. Scoop up the ridge of the skull and have a sense of lifting the head up away from the neck. So create a bit of a double chin feeling so the back of your neck feels really stretched out. Continue to lift the hands towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, round through the arms as you come back into a forward fold. Take a halfway lift as you inhale, hands to shins, reach the breastbone forwards. Exhale, soften into the legs, step the right leg back behind you and place the knee down to the floor. Staying here in the lunge, so keep the hands down either side of the front foot, release the toes to the back. Pressing down lightly through that back foot, so you'll feel your back kneecap sort of lighten away from the mat, and the legs feel a little bit more active. So keep pushing down through the back leg. Keeping the hips sinking forwards towards front heel. Hopefully talking to your right hip flexor a little bit here with the stretch. From here, we're going to come into half monkeys. If you have blocks or something you want under the hands, then grab them. Otherwise, see where we come to. So taking this front leg to straighten out. Walk the hands back so they stay somewhere under the shoulders or wherever they can just reach to the floor. You might want to just caterpillar your front foot forwards a little bit so you find more length through the leg, and then flexing the foot so the toes pull up towards you. Again, finding that hamstring stretch. This leg doesn't have to be straight. There can still be a bend in the knee. If you're getting the stretch, you're in the right place. So just focusing on the movement of this front foot, you're going to take an inhale with the foot flexed here. As you exhale, try to roll the foot towards the floor so the big toe and the second toe point towards the mat. As you inhale, peel the foot back up again. Exhale, roll the foot back to the floor so you're pointing the toes in towards the ground. Inhale, flex the foot. Exhale, rolling the foot to the floor. One more here. Inhale, flex the foot. Exhale, rolling the foot to the ground. Come back forwards into your lunge again, so hands next to the front foot. Take your time, come back through to an all fours position, so just sweep this leg around. Holding all fours, take a couple of cat-cow moves through the spine or swing the hips around side to side. Any movement that just helps loosen up your back. Coming back into your downward dog, so tuck the toes and lift the hips. Take a deep breath in. And a full breath out. Slowly bring the feet towards the top of the mat. So you can bring the hands to the feet when you need to, and then take an extra little shuffle forwards if we need to. Feet hips distance, maybe a soft bend in the knees, maybe a deep bend in the knees, up to you. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, rolling back up through the spine again, one vertebra at a time. Keeping the arms floppy, the chin tucking in until the rest of the spine is straight. Roll the shoulders down your back and lift the crown of the head. Fingers come to the base of the neck. You're going to find that scooping up the neck into the base of the skull, lifting the head away from the spine, figuratively, not literally. Reach the fingers up high, take a big breath in. Exhale to round through the arms, come back into the forward fold. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, step the left leg back behind you, place the knee down to the floor. Holding this lunge here, so fingertips stay next to the front foot, keep the hips sinking down. Try to find that activation of the back leg again, so press down through the back foot, so the hips sink forwards towards the front heel, and the back leg feels fairly active, the kneecap light to the ground. Holding there, taking a couple of breaths. From here, we're going to come into half monkey. So again, if you want to grab something under the hands, then take whatever you need. Straightening the front leg. So maybe wriggle the front foot forwards a little if you need to, so we can flex the foot. Toes curling back towards you. Keep the spine feeling fairly long. Take a breath in here with toes pulling up. And as you exhale, roll through the foot. So we point the big toe, the second toe, and the rest of the toes to the ground. Inhale to pull the foot back up. Exhale to roll through, hopefully feeling a bit of stretch around the top of the foot or front of the ankle. Inhale to pick it up. Exhale. Take one more here. Inhale to flex. And exhale to roll it through. Keep the foot planted. Come back into the lunge. So lean forward into that front leg. Take your time. Come back into all fours. Sweep the leg around to one side or skip it back. Again, any movement through your spine or through the shoulders, wriggle it out. And then tuck the toes, coming back into your downward facing dog again. Paddling through the feet a little, keep some movement into your downward dog. And Again, walking the feet towards the top of the mat, however feels best to get there. Find that forward fold, feet hips distance. Take a big breath in. Using the exhale, roll through the spine. And crown the head, places on top last. Roll the shoulders down your back when you're up straight. From here, we're going to lift the hands to the ceiling, picking up the right knee towards your chest, finding a moment of balance. Stepping the back foot, so this right foot, to the back of the mat, coming into warrior one. So angle the back foot to a diagonal line so the heel is rooted. Bring the hands to your hip bones, and then try to just check that your hips are almost square to the top of the mat. So there will be a slight rotation, but think this right side of the hips wants to stay feeling forwards. Really root down through that back heel, so the back leg is straight and strong, and then deepen and bend into the front knee. Have a sense of your feet trying to press apart from each other. Drop the tailbone down, so we're not back bending into it. And then as you inhale, go and reach the hands back up to the ceiling again. Keeping the shoulders down your back. There's a sense of strength and a sense of ease that meets this pose. Bring the gaze up towards the space between your hands. If that brings strain to the neck, then soften it forwards again. Feel the breath moving wide into the rib cage. Still drawing belly to spine as you exhale. You can deepen further into that left knee. Each time you inhale, think grow longer through the spine. Exhale, pulling the belly in, find the strength into it. Take another big breath in where you are. As you exhale, I'm going to rotate round to the right, come into warrior two, so you're on that longer side of the mat. So just adjust your feet, so the heel of your left foot is in line with the arch of your back foot, keeping the bend in the left knee and arms propping out. Your gaze comes over the left fingertips, so keep the palms active, the fingers stretching open, and the gaze just floating over the fingertips. Have a sense of the shoulders staying down. Just lift the forearms up a little. So the forearms are just an inch higher than your shoulders. So you keep that feeling of plugging the shoulders into your back. Nice deep breaths into it, maybe feeling a little bit of warmth through the legs. Taking a big breath in where you are. As you exhale, we're going to spin the hands around to the top of the mat again, stepping the back foot up to the top of the mat, back into your forward fold. Take a big breath in where you are. As you exhale, slowly rolling up through the spine. Again, head places on top last. Roll the shoulders down your back. As you inhale, going to lift the arms to the ceiling with the left knee coming up towards the chest, growing tall through your body. Exhale, step the left foot to the back of the mat. So coming into warrior one, back foot angles so the heel is reaching to the floor. Keep pressing that back leg away from you, so the back leg is straight and strong, and a deep bend into this front right knee. Again, bring the hands to your hips. Imagine you have lights on your hip bones. Check the hips are turning to the front of the mat, shining forwards. Tailbone stays down. Take out any feeling of back bending into it, and have a sense of the feet pressing apart from each other, like you're trying to rip the mat in the middle. Bring the hands towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Palms are facing each other. Drop the shoulders into your back, full belly to spine. If it's okay with the neck, have a sense of the gaze lifting to between the hands. Feel the breath move wide into the ribs and the space into it. Each time you inhale, thinking about growing taller through the spine. As you exhale, get deeper into the legs. Take another breath in where you are. As you exhale, rotate round towards the left side so you come into your warrior two. Again, align the feet so front heel in line with the arch of the back foot. Spread the fingers open and gaze reaches over your right fingertip. Drop the shoulders, lift the wrists slightly, arms feel strong. Feel the breath come into the body. The spine is straight, so just check in that you're not leaning forwards will be the temptation. Take a big breath in where you are. As you exhale, spiral the hands down to the floor, either side of the front foot, stepping the back foot to the top of the mat, come back into your forward fold. Staying here, take a big breath in. As you exhale, slowly rolling up through the spine. Roll the shoulders down your back, lift the head on top. So we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So whichever way you want to turn, doesn't matter. Step either leg back so you come into the longer side of your mat. Feet nice and wide with the outer edges of your feet parallel with the edges of your mat. So the toes are forwards or slightly pigeon-toed even. Bring the hands to your hips. Lift up nice and tall, open through the chest, take a big breath in. Have a sense of shoulder blades squeezing together. As you exhale, try to keep a flat spine. You're hinging from the hips to lean forwards. Keep the nose looking forwards, tailbone reaching back. Pausing halfway down. Hands stay to hips if we're looking after your back. Pull up the knees. If we can, back to feeling okay, reach the right arm forwards so the arm is next to your ear. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring that hand back to the hip. Inhale, take the left arm to reach forwards, arm next to your ear. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring the hand back to your hip. From here, let the hands come down to the floor. Let yourself just fold into that gap between the legs. Crown of the head facing the ground. We're gazing through the legs. Keep a little sway into it if that feels a little bit easier. Keep some soft movement through, or bend into one knee at a time. Take about another 3 breaths into this fold. And then keeping the right hand to the floor. On your next inhale, lift the left hand up towards the ceiling. So you kind of twist here. Take a breath in where you are. As you exhale, pull the belly to spine so you can deepen into the rotation or lift the gaze. Take another breath in. Exhale, bring the hand to the floor. Switching sides, so left hand stays down. Right arm lifts up to the ceiling, taking a big breath in. Staying where you are, exhale, belly to spine, maybe lift the gaze. Stay where you are, take a breath in. Exhale, bring the hand back to the floor. Walk your hands around towards the top of your mat. You're going to step back into a downward facing dog. However feels best to get there. Take a little paddle of the legs again, any little wriggles through the hips or shoulders. And then bringing the knees to the floor. Just drop the hips down to one side of your feet or roll over the feet so the legs come around in front of you. Bring your hips into the middle of the mat. Feet stay planted, reach the fingertips forwards. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, slowly rolling down through the spine, have a sense of the hands staying reaching forwards so that you can take your time to roll through the back. When your spine is grounded, reach the arms back behind you and lengthen the legs away so you find a full body stretch out. Take a deeper couple of breaths or a yawn, have a wriggle into it. And from here, bringing yourself into any variation of a Shavasana. So you might want to stay out flat and just bring the arms to the sides of the body or onto the lower belly. If it's more comfortable for your back to keep a bend in the knees, then take wherever you need to be. Stretch the face out nice and wide, so big wide mouth. And then scrunch up your face. And then wide for your mouth. And then let the face feel floppy. Relax the hinge of the jaw. Maybe softly closing your eyes, but keep the eyelids soft, the forehead soft. Maybe tuck the shoulders down your back. Find a little bit of space around the neck and the chest. And then finding a few rounds of that 3, 4, 5 breath that we did at the start of the practice. So when you can, sink in with me and inhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold in the breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath for 4. Exhale for 5. Inhale for 3. Holding for 4. Exhale for 5. Take a couple of rounds on your own. And then allow the breath to relax to a more organic rhythm. On your next breath in, reach the arms back behind you again. Find that full body stretch again. On an exhale, bring the knees back in towards your body, just hugging the hands around the shins, rocking side to side on your back. And gently from here, either roll yourself to one side first or take a gentle rock to seated if that's more comfortable. Bring yourself upright to any place that feels good to come to. Bring the hands just to rest to the legs somewhere. Lifting tall through the spine, bring that length to the back of the neck again, that softness to the jaw. Closing your practice, as always, bringing to mind just one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge one thing that you like about yourself today. And recognize something that you have gained or released from getting to a yoga mat today. And close that to the heart center. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you. Namaste. Well done.